Big changes this week for power users of ChatGPT with the launch of GPT-5. Now, all the other videos that you're seeing out there are telling you what a game changer this is. It is amazing. It is incredible. But is it? I don't know. Watch this video and find out, because there is one main issue that nobody's talking about that you need to know. Let's talk about it.
Welcome to the API for Everyone Daily Brief.
I'm just going to tell you straight, when it came to GPT-5, I'm very underwhelmed. Now, I know all my peers out there are making these videos on how groundbreaking, game-changing, incredible, the whole world is different now. We are going to be so much more productive. I was pretty underwhelmed by the announcement. Now, I do wonder if it's because the other releases have been such leaps forward, and then this one feels like one of those smaller incremental jumps. Maybe that's it, because I'm in this every day and I see all of these changes happening, and now I'm just harder to impress, maybe. But on the other hand, I don't know what everybody's talking about when they're saying this is such a game changer. Now, I will admit this, there's something very historic in the sense of we are now bringing two models together into one, completely into one. And if you don't know what I'm referring to, in OpenAI, they had two models running concurrently. You have a GPT model like GPT-4. This was a text-only model. Then you had your reasoning models, which was your O series, and this was built to take extra time to work on more complex problems. This is where it's reasoning, it's thinking, it's coming up with that. And then you had the multimodal models, say that 3 times in a row, that can handle both text and images and reasoning, and all of those things are kind of bringing them together in a GPT-4o model. But now you have GPT-5 that has brought both of them together officially into one, and you no longer have to try to figure out which model should I be using to optimize the output that I'm going for. Because in the past, if you wanted speed, you picked a certain model. If you wanted deep thinking, you picked a different model. If you wanted multimodal, you picked even a different model again. GPT-5 ends all of that. So that's a very good thing. But it does come with a price, and it feels like a pretty steep price that we're paying here, and I'll get to that in just a moment. And I think you're going to be shocked because I'm not seeing anybody else covering this issue. But let's talk about a few of the positive things first. Intelligence and performance have absolutely been increased. PhD level intelligence is what they're touting here, and when they shared the benchmarks, it's very impressive. Now, I still take these benchmarks with a grain of salt because it feels very Apple-esque in the way that they market. You know how Apple can take a 1% increase and make it feel like a 100x improvement in some way. But the benchmark domination is there, and it's high in math, it's high in science, it's high in coding, in visual problem solving. That's something I'm very excited about. But benchmarks are meaning less and less because everybody at this point is touting these 96, 97, 98% benchmarks. Well, where do you go from there? And OpenAI acknowledged this, because once you get there, how are you going to capture how great the model really is? So there's going to have to be some new way that we look for that. The user experience has been pretty simplified. I'll give you a quick tour because there's a few things that I haven't seen a lot of people cover that I think you might miss inside the platform that are very important. So I want to make sure that you see and get access to that. And here's the big one, that it's free for everybody. I think that's the biggest wow factor here, that even if you are just on the free plan, you're going to be using GPT-5, the most advanced model that's on planet Earth right now, arguably. So that's positive. That's AI for everyone. Okay, so that price, because it's pretty steep. The last model, it felt like it was unlimited. I don't remember the last time that I got shut down for using it or throttled or locked out or anything. And that used to be a big challenge. With the release of GPT-5, and keep in mind it's basically the only model that we have now, well, you get 80 GPT-5 messages every 3 hours. And then you shift to a lighter model. Let me repeat that. 80 GPT-5 messages every 3 hours. And 200 GPT-5 thinking messages per week if you turn that mode on. Whew. Yeah. You're going to be throttled. So what do we do about that? Well, instead of working all day, which I'm on ChatGPT on and off all day, you're going to have to plan to work in 3-hour blocks or these 80 message blocks. Hopefully they change this, but at least for now, that's the way that it is. You're going to have to use GPT-5 thinking for audits, decisions, complex prompts, and not for routine drafts. I mean, you're going to have to save it and use it when you really need it. You're going to have to start really thinking about the way that you're using it. You're going to need to push your first drafts maybe to the mini model and reserve GPT-5 for reviews and final passes. So, yeah, here's what I want you to take away from this. Expect caps. 80 per 3 hours, 200 thinking per week. You're going to need to treat thinking as a scarce, limited resource now, and workflow matters more than ever. You're going to have to batch, you're going to have to save, and you're going to have to pace your sessions. So limits can be annoying, but look, let's look at the bright side. The glass is always half full. Constraints make you sharper. They make you think more. So the pros, the power users, we will find a way to adapt very quickly to this. We will hope that that gets released and we're going to have more. But for now, we'll figure out a way to adapt to it. So my question to you is, what will you change? How are you using it? And how are these limitations going to impact you? Let's jump into the platform because there's one thing in particular I really want to show you because I haven't seen a lot of people talk about this either. And it's a feature that a lot of people don't know is there, or if you did, you kind of forgot about it because it was one of those things a while ago that we kind of set and forgot about. But if you go down to where your name is and click that, you'll see something called Customize ChatGPT. If you click that, what you're going to see here about 3 things down here is what personality should ChatGPT have. Now this is pretty cool. It defaults on cheerful and adaptive, but they've added some different personalities. A cynic, critical and sarcastic, a robot, efficient and blunt, a listener, thoughtful and supportive, a nerd, exploratory and enthusiastic. So that's pretty cool. You're going to get that different personality. And then below that, what traits should ChatGPT have? And you can kind of put those personality traits in there as well. And what they're saying is it's going to just adapt to this, and you're going to see more personality in the text and eventually in the voice as you speak and talk. It's going to become more and more human-like, if you will. Now, the other thing I want to point out, if you go up here to the models where we've always gone to pick, you'll see there's just GPT-5 there, their flagship model. Now, you can click this, and there's 2 other models here. There's that thinking model that I talked about, so that's the one you get 200 per. And then there's the GPT-5 Pro, and that's if you're on the $200 a month plan or on the team plan, you'll have access to that. So for most people, you're going to be using the GPT-5 flagship model almost exclusively. And then the last thing I want to point out while we're in here is you're going to see there's a lot more tools that keep popping up in this little plus box. We got the agent mode that was just released here a few weeks ago. You got your deep research, create image. Now you have a think longer button. You have the study mode, which I did a video on here if you want to learn more about that. web search Canvas, and then you can connect Google Drive, OneDrive, and other things in there as well. So plenty of options here as you're moving forward. Well, this wasn't the video that I was expecting to make, and I fell for the hype. I was really excited for this release. I was thinking it was going to be much bigger, and maybe I will shoot another video in a week or two after I jump in, I use it more. Maybe I'm just being too critical right now. I know the coding, I'm excited to jump into that, and I won't know for a week or two until I get in there and really do some experimentation. But the throttling thing concerns me, but the fact that two models have come together is historic. The fact that everybody has access is amazing. And if I have to adjust my workflow for those positive things to happen, well, then I'll just adapt. That's what we need to do to make that happen. So, all right, well, that's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that subscribe button, like button. Leave me a comment. What do you think? Am I getting this wrong? Am I missing something? Am I being too critical, or am I onto something here? And if there is something that you found that you really like in this model where you see an improvement, please share that in the comment section too, because look, I'm not perfect and there's so much going on and I'm trying to keep up and I miss a lot. So I need to hear from you, and I'll always listen, and I'm always here to experiment. And, I want to learn from you as much as hopefully you are learning from me. All right, well, that's it for me. My name is Harrison Painter. This has been the AI for Everyone Daily Brief. And until next time, keep creating, keep innovating, and most importantly, keep up. God bless you.
Thanks for listening. I'm glad you stayed. One more spark for the plans you've made. If this show hit, go share the vibe. Like, subscribe, let's build this tribe.